All right. So Maria, welcome to Keller Williams and welcome to real estate.
Cynthia's on now.
Hi, Cynthia.
I'm sorry. I had muted myself, but I couldn't unmute fast enough.
No worries. None at all.
I'm a part-time agent. I plan on retiring from Costco Wholesale next year and become a full-time agent, but I wanted to start now, get my feet wet. I've listed and rented a couple of apartments. I think I'm working on my first, as a buyer's agent, my first home. And
Nice.
that's where I am.
Yay. How long have you been with us? Hello?
Oh, she got disconnected.
Okay.
But she's
Okay.
also a new agent. Not a year, not even a year yet.
Okay. Yeah, that's a lot of activity for someone who's only been around under a
Oh,
year.
she's back
Really?
on.
I've been around since January.
Okay,
Since
good.
January.
So 9 months, 10 months in a few days.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yay. Hey guys, today, the 29th is Ian Matthews' birthday. That's my youngest, and he's 26 years old today.
Awesome.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, he's in Amsterdam, but I'll take that for him.
Yes.
Yeah, yep. Exciting. Does anybody have children?
I do too.
Yes, you do. I know yours.
Yeah.
Well, I have grandkids.
Oh, really?
Hello.
You look so
Yes.
young. Okay.
Thank you. Yes.
Good for
I have
you.
a
How
12
many?
A 12. Two. One is 12. She just turned 12 on the 23rd of September,
Okay.
and I have a grandson that's 9. My daughter's
Wow.
35. Yeah.
Good for you. Yeah, I was going to say, well, then that means you have kids. Good.
Yes. One. I have
Awesome,
one
awesome.
daughter.
One daughter. Nice.
Yes.
So Costco, 1 year. I'm
Yes.
just trying to, guys, when you have to jump in and start the video, please let me know, okay? For now, I'm
Yes.
just
We're
trying
gonna
to get
give
to know
the
everybody.
agents 2 more minutes because we have more agents plugging in.
Okay, perfect.
Good.
Perfect.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So, let's see, the two that I do have on, well, I know what brought,
Actually,
One
Debbie, you
in.
have more agents. There
I
is
do.
Jerome, Toby,
Yeah, Jerome is actually
Joshua.
one of my admins, guys.
Oh,
Okay,
great.
so yep, he's working with me. Toby, I don't know Toby. Oh, I see. Josh, Tyrone.
Yes.
Oh, good, nice, very nice.
That's
Kesman.
nice.
Guys, welcome. And I see Lee C. All right. So, anybody want to tell me why you guys got into real estate? Just curious.
I can jump in and say that my husband is also a sales agent. We decided to make a move that both of us can do together to change our life, to change our finances, and to secure our future.
Good for you.
And at the same token, we leave something for our family and we can help other families, which is something we enjoy doing.
Yeah, that sounds like the values, right, of Keller Williams?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Thank
nice.
you.
Yeah, helping others, legacy's worth living. I love
Mhm.
that part. Yeah, good for you. Good for you.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard. Okay. Anybody
you.
else want to share?
Well, I owned a couple of properties. I still own a couple of properties, and so I was an investor, a real estate investor. And I decided that when I was going to leave Costco, I decided that I want to be a licensed real estate investor. So that's where I am at now.
Oh, welcome. Good for you. So you have a little bit of an idea as to our maniacal business that we all love, by the way.
Yes.
Madness and all. Good.
And I met David during my my adventures. So
David Leon?
Yes.
Yes, nice.
And he
Yes.
said that would be a great idea, a great thing for me to segue into.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at now.
Absolutely. The master. Good choice. Good choice for you. Yeah.
Awesome,
you.
team. So let's get started. We have many people plugging in. That's awesome. So far, there's 16 minus one more of me because I'm duplicated. So we have so far 15 people here. Let me introduce Debbie.
Recording
Deborah
in
Rivera,
progress.
right? Top producing agent, Circle of Excellence recipient. She is the mentor of Thomas Mazzara. So if you were here on the last night, you know that, Thomas graduated and Debbie was his mentor. Yeah, and look at him now.
I love my
You know,
Tommy.
He's on investment property number 74 by the end of the month. That is amazing. And like
Wow.
he mentioned, right, the tasks and the daily activities is no different from an investor and an agent. And of course, Debbie, always here to share her knowledge, help the agents out. I remember when they used to come here in the office, it was all about no talking work, right? Work, because you won't get where you want to go if you're right distracted, right? Focus, super focus, be laser sharp focus. That's Debbie,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Work on your numbers, work on the activities, and she has proof because she has mentees that graduated from the program. So Debbie, thank you so much for being here with us.
You're
We're
welcome.
gonna start. We're gonna start with the video first. Remember, it's a recorded video. Leave your questions to the end for Debbie, and she'll share her experience, her knowledge, and a day in Debbie's life, right? Real
Good luck.
estate.
I'm glad you clarified. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Tessa, let's get the video started.
Great. Let's dive right into it.
Incredibly exciting career to be in real estate on a daily basis. You hear people say things like, I want a career where I don't have the same thing happen 2 days in a row. Well, you've found it. And especially with the schedule that you just looked at, it will operate that way. So let's dig in even further into a day in the life of a real estate agent. And what we're going to do is we're going to provide a view of a successful agent's day. What does a real estate agent truly do? And why do we say it's a full-time position? Why do we say it's a full-time commitment? Well, if you got any questions about why it's a full-time commitment after the slide we just covered, we're going to answer those too. Here we go. So our roadmap for the day, you're like, well, we've covered so much and we're just getting started. Our roadmap for the day is to cover a day in the life. And we're going to do that by talking about how you grow your business and run your business, set weekly and daily objectives, create accountability, and we're going to do some recap and some ahas. Okay, let's check out this quote. In the book, The One Thing, Gary Keller quotes F.M. Alexander, educator and thespian, who says, people do not decide their futures. They decide their habits, and their habits decide their futures. What does this quote tell us about how to cultivate success for ourselves? What does this quote tell us about how to cultivate success for ourselves? Let's think about it this way. Gary Keller teaches us that our thinking, our current way of thinking, leads to the behaviors that we have, which lead to the habits that we form. Those consistent behaviors become habits, right? And leads to our key relationships. And I love the commentary and feedback that what it tells us is that we create and we take on our habits, and the success will come with it. That's exactly right. That's exactly in alignment, Sammy, with what Gary Keller says, which is that it's our thinking, then our behavior, then our habits, and our key relationships. It's the same thing we're saying here. That's excellent. The goal of the session that we're taking on is to develop a plan on how to use your time effectively to fulfill your mission. To build a career worth having, a business worth owning, and a life worth living, experience worth giving, and a legacy worth leaving. Starting habits now that will ultimately create the future that you want for yourself. And by the end of this module, you're going to have an updated 411, time block your calendar, and developed an accountability plan with your accountability partner to be able to go from thinking about the day in the life of the real estate agent and a successful professional, to taking the actions or the behaviors of doing those things and laying that out in your schedule, to building the habits necessary in the relationships to execute on that. What do you think successful agents do every day? I'd love to get your feedback on Slido.com on 1437. I'd love to get your feedback live here in the room. What do you think that successful agents do every day? I know we've got a piece of material that covers it, and yet, what do you think? You know some successful agents. Many of you are successful agents. What do you do every day? I love lead generate. I love lead generate. Absolutely on there. Lead generate, lead follow up. Great contribution. Completely agree. Absolutely on there. What else? What else do successful agents do every day? Lead generate and lead follow up. Okay. They keep on schedule. They keep to their schedule. Yeah, they absolutely do that. Absolutely do that. Let's think about this. When you begin your day, right? Practice scripts. Oh, I'm glad I saw that. I'm glad I turned and saw that one. Really good. Yeah, you got to practice. Here's the thing that's so interesting, and you're nailing it, because here's what's so great about this. What happens that successful agents do every day, and you all know what they do. This is the cool thing. You already have the knowledge of what you've got to do. We're just going to talk about how we put that together, and you can take the action and build the habits. That's the greatest part. So the first thing is you get in the mindset. Think about what Gary teaches us. The mindset or the thinking and the motivation to have the energy to take these things on, right? That's the very first step. In coaching, often we talk about the reset button. That's a way to think about it, right? How do I reset my energy? How do I reset my energy? How do I drive my energy? So at the beginning of the day, you get motivated by reviewing your goals and you plan your day. And the motivation activities will vary. That's kind of the starting point. You can see it in the calendar we have for today. As a team leader, in the beginning of my career, first thing in the morning when I started my day, what I would do was watch motivational and inspirational videos. Now, that was the option that I took on. That was what drove me, right? Another thing that I would do, it sounded like a rave, probably, if you walked by, maybe, right? Is I was blaring music. There was loud music on, okay? And I'm watching motivational, inspirational videos, and so people are screaming, there's loud music on. Now, if you walk by that, it's a little crazy. That's true, right? And yet, I want to get myself in that mood so that I got a lot of energy. I'm pumped up. I'm also enjoying some things. I'm thinking, right? And I was taught also that, we're going to talk about 401 here at the end of the day, I was taught by a coach that if I completed my 401 and I taped it to my computer screen, then when I walked in the office in the morning, I could read it. And then I would flip it over my computer screen, turn on my computer, and start my day. Motivational videos and inspirational speakers, blaring music, right? Getting that on, right? I have all that together. I've reviewed my goals. I'm really getting focused as to what we need to do. Now, that's me. You may think that's the craziest thing in the world. You may start your day with yoga. You might start your day with meditation. You might start your day by, we know clients that walk through nature. That's their thing. They walk on the beach. That's their thing, right? Let's think about how we can start our day with this motivation building time, with that reflection time, with that focus time. You might be a lunatic like me, and you got to get pumped up and drive it that way. Find the behavior and the habits you can form that gets you into the best version of your focused self so that we can take a step into moving forward, which is now we're going to lead generate and lead follow up. If we're looking at this schedule, we've got that 8 to 8:30 motivation building time. I challenge you to consider script practice in there too. Challenge you to consider script practice in that motivation building time in there too. Because what we say right? And knowing how to say it can be as important as actually saying it when we learn the words at a really high level. And that's where things like bold and other activities teach us that too. And that's really exciting. Okay, so we have that. Then we go into our daily success habits, right? That's that lead generation and follow-up. You all nailed that. We asked what successful agents do. You already knew. It's lead generation, lead follow-up. We get excited, we get plugged in, we focused, we practice a little bit what to say, then we start saying it, we generate, right? Then we follow up on what we said. It's pretty natural. Then we'd follow up. Then you eat your lunch. Yeah, you eat your lunch. You eat your lunch. Now, some people laugh when we talk about putting lunch on a schedule. Right? Like, I don't need lunch on my schedule. Of course I'll eat. Here's the crazy thing. Think about that slide where we said you're going to grow your business and you're going to run your business. And as you're going to spark your business, you're going to ignite your business, you're going to be doing so much business in a couple days, you're going to be going, whoa. And here's what can happen. Lunch sometimes gets removed. Right? That can happen. So you block it in your schedule to ensure that you eat. Because here's the thing. Notice you start your day with energy. That's that motivation. Well, food, last time I checked, is also energy. You're going to need to reset that. And it gives you a little bit of time to think. Right? Maybe go on a walk again. Maybe you do that. Maybe you look at your goals again. Okay, now we're going to run our business activities. Marketing listings, reading and negotiating contracts and attending trainings. Okay, that's running our business. It's learning what we need to do. It's executing on what we need to do for at 12:30 to 2:30. Then we're going to grow the business activities. Previewing real estate. Wow, is that important? Wow, is that important? Previewing real estate. You know, Gary's taught us to become the local economist of choice. And if you think about previewing real estate, what most consumers can't access is what it actually feels like and looks like inside that home or at that property. I can see it on websites online. I can see it on different places, right? I can search it on your website as a Keller Williams agent. That's the best place to direct them to, of course. And yet, I can't necessarily feel the property or experience it. And as an agent, the more you see that, experience it, make those comparisons, can talk about it, the more power you have, right? The more of an expert that you become. Wow, previewing real estate's important. Making seller presentations. Yeah, we gotta make presentations, right? Here's the cool thing. Activity is an instant thing. You can decide and take action. Skill develops over time. That's not a fun realization sometimes. That skill develops over time. So we take the action, and as we make more presentations, you'll get better, and you'll get feedback, and you'll grow. And you meet with clients. Absolutely, you meet with clients. Every day, meet with clients. That's an exciting thing. That's the fun part of the business. That's how you'll grow and earn the income you desire. Then you review your calendar for tomorrow. Pre-planning tomorrow is important. And you notice we are a God family business company, right? And so you see family time come up next, right? Family time come up next. So you've done your work, you've been purposeful in your hours at work, and now family time shows up. So grow the business activities are the seller listing presentation, the buyer presentation, and previewing real estate. Run the business activities. Let's go through them one more time. Marketing seller listings, showing buyers houses, negotiating contracts, transaction management to closing, vendor management, setting goals, compliance, risk management, attending training, getting coaching, and managing your money. And at the end of the day, agents look ahead and time block for the next day. That's so important to look at tomorrow's calendar. Now, I'll raise my hand and tell you that I definitely have double booked myself throughout my career. Wow, have I screwed that up. I've made a lot of mistakes. You're sitting there going, I know, you've made 20 during this presentation. I get it. And yet that being said, the way to avoid double booking yourself and making silly mistakes is you check your calendar. And you look at tomorrow and you go, ooh, maybe I'll send a text message out or an email and I'll flip that time, or I'll slide that slot, or I'll move this, or right? It's a way to actually be more professional, interestingly enough. And it's not that you're unprofessional, it's just more preparation. And it allows you to be able to, when you get into that motivation building time, maybe you're like me and like other successful people, and I'm sure you are, where when you look at your day in advance, you get yourself in the mindset necessary to succeed in each presentation or each opportunity that you have. it also allows you the ability to do that. Okay. Oh, by the way, we got to put our big rocks in the calendar first. We got to put our big rocks in first. Y'all remember that story, right, where we have the bucket, the vase, right? Okay, it's a clear vase. And then we have the option of putting the big rocks in first and then gravel and sand, right? Or we could put the sand in first, right, and put the big rocks in last. And we all know that we put the big rocks in first so we can fit everything in, or as much in as we possibly can. Your life and your schedule operates the same way. If you make the decision to put the big rocks in your schedule first, that lead generation, that lead follow-up, that motivational time, the execution to achieve your goals, if, God forbid, something happens and you don't accomplish everything else you have in your schedule, you've accomplished the most important things that day. Does this make sense? Let's get our big rocks on our schedule first. And so it leads into a natural question, which is, why would we start the day with lead generation and lead follow-up? This is a live stream, right? So this is also a live question. Why would we start the day with lead generation and lead follow-up? I didn't freeze, right? I'm just waiting for your answers. Okay, right? I love Sammy's answer here in the room. She says, because they're the big rocks. They're the most important things to make sure we achieve our goals. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So we know that lead generation is the core of a successful agent's business, because the more potential leads that you're generating, the more business that you have. Simply put, right, we also got a response, right, on Slido that we start with the big rocks and lead generation is most important, and we know that agents do that. That's exactly right. So simply put, we've heard Gary say before, right? We've heard Gary say before that we either in our business have a lead generation problem or we have a conversion problem. Right? We either don't have enough leads to achieve the conversion necessary to achieve our goals, or we have enough leads and we're not converting at the level necessary to achieve our goals. So when you look at it, successful agents know lead generation is the fundamental aspect of filling the pipeline to generate enough leads to convert to achieve their goals. Okay. We'll keep moving forward. Now we got to set weekly and daily objectives. Okay, got it. And just ignore anything else that you may see in the frame right now. Okay, let's take a look at, right, we got to have fun, right? That's the important thing. We started by saying that we were going to make mistakes and screw things up. If we don't make mistakes and screw things up, we wouldn't be meeting your expectations. Okay, now, let's take a look at opening up your 411. So go ahead and open your 411 from last week. Give you a second to get that open on your computer, right, or pull it out on your desk and put it in front of you. So go ahead and open your 411 up from last week. And I'd love to see on Slido and in the chat some got it's or some it's open. So I know it's open. I'm seeing thumbs up, right? I'd love to see some Slidos, it's open. Just give me the time to open it up. Okay, now that you've got your 411 open and it's in front of you, and you've been through most of the Spark, you may want to adjust your goals. The cool thing about the 411 is it's a living document, right? The cool thing about the 411 is it's a living document. What that means is that you have 52 opportunities to update it and adjust it throughout the year because you update it weekly. And so you've been through more material, you've covered more in Spark, and you may want to adjust your goals. So your new knowledge that you've obtained throughout this course may actually influence your weekly and your monthly performance to achieve your annual goals. Now, what's also really cool and exciting is some of you may sit there and say, okay, I got to run my business and grow my business. I'm starting to figure out my time block schedule. I've got my annual goals. I'm doing the daily 10-4. I'm taking on the activities. I'm attacking what I need to do. And you know what? I'm getting some results. And continued on this track, and based on the behavior that I have developed into habits, I might even be able to adjust my annual goals up. You may think that too. You may be able to do that. So what we want to challenge you to do is revisit your 411. And we've got a blank 411 in your materials that you can actually go back into and update if this conversation has caused you to think, you know what, I am in the perspective of making some changes, right, and being able to adjust and update that. So let's take a look at how we're going to use our weekly goals in our 411 and turn them into daily SMART objectives by applying the 80-20 principle. Whew. Okay, that was a lot of words. Let's break it down. There's this concept called the Pareto principle. And the Pareto principle says that or the 80-20 principle, right? That's what you see in front of you. You can help prioritize and focus on what's most important. And here's what we know. Vilfredo Pareto could win the award today for one of the best names, or rhyming names, right? Well, I digress. Vilfredo Pareto, an Italian economist, discovered that 20% of our activities yield 80% of our results. And when our actions are not focused on the 20%, we don't get the results that we want. So the 80-20 principle may be counterintuitive, and yet it works. The converse to the 80-20 principle is also true, meaning that 80% of our effort yields 20% of our results. Now, we've referred to this differently earlier as the big rocks. Your 20% activities would be those big rocks. So here's a different way of thinking about it. Stephen Covey analogizes our time to a bucket, and we can only fit so much in our bucket. And how we fill it matters. If we start by filling the bucket with sand, we won't have room for the big rocks and the gravel. We've talked about this. We'll keep going. If we start with the big rocks first, then we can add the gravel and sand, and it'll fit in the space left over. Sand and gravel are the small things. They're the 80% that only yield. They're the 80% that only yield 20% of the results in life. If we start with the big rocks, or the 20%, then we'll get those things done, and we'll be able to fit in the gravel and sand, the 80%. The 20% are the big rocks. You've already addressed it. We've talked through it. Now you're seeing it, and you're seeing it in an image in front of you, labeled there as well. So start by identifying your big rocks and looking in your weekly goals on your 411. To really plug into this, if you take the participant guide that you have, you can go ahead and flip to page 5 in it. So let's actually drill into this. What are the big rocks that make up your 20%? What are the 20% activities? What are the big rocks that make up your 20% as a real estate professional? As you're responding in the chat box and you're responding on Slido 1437, I want to also challenge you to take a few seconds to write down your big rocks based on your newly updated 411, or what you will need to do to update your 411. So we're just going to have you take a few seconds and go ahead and do that. Write down the big rocks. Now, if as you're doing this, you think to yourself, this seems like an oversimplification of my career in real estate. Or can it really be I write down my big rocks and I achieve what I desire? Here's what you consider. When we looked at the run your business and grow your business slide, there's definitely the opportunity for complication in the way you operate this business with how many things happen on a daily basis. Activities like this are excellent personal leadership activities. It's a focused activity of saying, what are the simple things or the focused things that I can do that allow me to achieve my goals? So that's why we're stopping you and slowing you down to write down those big rocks. So as you write them down and you've gotten them written, go ahead and share some examples in the chat and on Slido. What did you write down as your big rocks? I love, somebody wrote, calling my sphere. Calling my sphere. That's smart. That's really smart. Lead generation, lead follow-up, negotiating contract, go on appointments, script practice, and role play. That's somebody who's taken bold. Love that one. Call my database, open houses, and follow-up. Sammy, you're nailing it. These are big rocks. These are big rocks. We're seeing the concept of script practice, lead generation, lead follow-up, appointments, and negotiating contracts continue to come up in this conversation. Somebody said that they're going to door knock their farm. Door knock their farm. That's excellent. We know an agent in California that door knocks 100 homes on a daily basis and netted over $1 million last year. Wow. As a singular focus, that's pretty smart. So, okay, we've got a good grasp on our big rocks. So, and you're nailing the activities, you're nailing the focus, you're on track, you're doing a great job. Let's keep going. Let's look at setting smart objectives. Setting smart objectives. So, turn your participant guide to page 6 or page next. I'm not certain if we labeled the right page. KWU does a great job in everything. Maybe I screwed it up. Just turn to the next page. It'll be there. Okay, great. When you're developing your daily objectives, focus on how to measure progress towards the goals that you identified. Identify the targets that will facilitate your success using SMART objectives. Okay, what does SMART stand for? Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. Okay, what do we mean by that? Well, specific is you clearly define where you're going. That's specificity, right? Specificity is also a word that when you learn how to say it, it's like a party trick. People struggle with it. We'll keep going. We're just having fun. Right? That's specificity, though. That's being specific. Measurable. You establish concrete criteria for measuring progress towards the attainment of each goal that you set. Measurable can also be thought about as quantitative, right? Or to use a word that's not so big, you put a number to the darn thing, right? How do we measure this? Now, the cool thing is, what we measure, we can grow. What we measure, we can grow. So that's cool. Okay, achievable. Goals should be challenging and match to the time that you've allotted for their completion. So achievable. Now, you know, you could be in this course and it could be your very first time experiencing getting started and launching your career in real estate. You may just have gotten your license. And if you set a goal of taking 100 listings this month, you absolutely could do so. And there's going to be some aspects to the time that you allot and the skill set you currently have that might be hurdles to that. So a more achievable goal would be looking at the time you have allotted to lead generate and lead follow-up, the pipeline that you've generated, the leads that you have, and your skills in conversion. And maybe you say you're going to take, well, maybe you'll take 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 listings in your first month, right? Based on all of those factors, the achievability of those pieces. Okay, relevant. The goals, when they're met, each objective achieved, well, it achieves moving you closer to your weekly, monthly, and annual goals. When you're setting these SMART objectives, it's in attachment, in the concept of attaching this to your 411. What do I do each week, each month, and each year professionally to achieve my goals such that I can fund my life by design and my goals that I desire personally? Are they relevant? When we achieve this, does it allow me to move forward through that process? And finally, timely. A commitment to a deadline helps you focus your efforts on urgent tasks first. Well, let's just think about it. Each one of us has had a vacation coming up imminently in the next couple days or hours. Have you ever had a vacation before? Have you ever had a lot of things to do before you left? And what's interesting is many of us have the experience of you had a deadline, you had a lot of things to do, and you got them done based on that deadline. So setting a time stamp or by when you'll complete the goal can create urgency for you to move things forward and progress a little bit faster or to make sure you achieve them. Okay, that's SMART. It's specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. So what we're going to challenge you to do is use your revised 411 to enter daily SMART objectives for each day. And say that again, because we covered a lot of content, and now we're asking you to do something. So take a look at your revised, or how you'll revise, based on today's conversation, your 411, and enter daily SMART objectives for each day. That would be extremely purposeful.
All right, and that ends our short video presentation.
So now, Debbie, if you can take it away with your experience, a day in the life of Debbie Rivera as a mega real estate agent, that would be awesome. And also, agents, if you have questions, you can also put it in the chat or, raise your hand so Debbie can call you up. You're muted, Debbie. We still can't hear you, Deb. Was it just me?
I have a question, but can I, I'll ask it after her.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Now we can hear you, yes.
Okay, we'll take that off. So, yeah, somebody had a question. Go for it, please.
Hi, this is Sophia. When he said that people that agents be knocking on the door, at this day and time, do you think that's wise for us to do that? To get lead generation from knocking on people's doors now?
Door knocking? Yeah, you're not actually getting all that close, are you? It's still that 6. And you are the community agent. It's your job to know your clients. You're going shopping, you're doing everything else. I mean, I would just walk up to the door. When I ring the bell, when they open, I always take one step back and, I hand them a card and I just let them know, hey, look, I'm Debbie. I am your local agent. I'm also your neighbor. I just want to stop by and say hello and introduce myself.
Okay. All right. So, I was just thinking,
Yeah, you're not walking in and having coffee or anything. You're just sort of
Okay.
saying hello and introducing you. It's always about staying top of mind with your community. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Most welcome. Anybody else? No? Yes? Maybe? So I'm just going to talk a little bit, and I'm going to let you guys know what my calendar really looks like, my schedule. And then I want you guys to jump in. I want your questions. We learn by having our questions answered, and no question is stupid. What you're asking, probably 3-4 of us also have this in mind. We're just too shy to ask. So everything that he said on the video, it's honest. It's on point, okay? I work from home. I get up in the morning, be it in my pajamas or all done, and I get to the office, which is, 3-4 steps back, and I sit down and I look at my calendar. Actually, I'm going to take it back a little bit, because he hit that one right on point. Mindset for me is huge, okay? I don't every day get up and want to do this. So, I wake up, and before I even jump out of bed, I have it programmed in my room so that something motivational comes on. I listen to that in bed for a little bit. I do meditate, and then I get to the coffee, and then I get to the office. That's that morning startup for me. I can't do that. This being, especially in the environment we're in right now, being home and working from home, this has to be where you need it, and it does create the energy. I find that the minute I get through my motivational, I literally jump out of bed and, all right, let's do this. Let's get doing this, okay? Especially when you're talking to people that you don't know and you don't want to get on the phone. Okay. So that's the first part of the day. I do calls, I answer messages, I try to time block. So if someone's calling me back while I'm doing all of this, I'm not answering the phone. I'm letting those messages go to voicemail. I don't ever want to take a call that's going to disrupt me where I am mentally. I don't know if it's a client who's got a problem. I don't know if it's a vendor who's, needs my time. And I don't want to have those conversations. Those conversations are going to happen on my time, because I need my mindset to be right on point in order to talk to them. So that happens later in the day. Okay. I do time block. I do have a calendar that I follow. The big rocks for me are always my family. So those things go into my calendar at the beginning of the year. Okay, if I want to take a vacation, and how many vacations do you want to take? If I just want to take a week off from the business, what week is that going to be? Because at the end of the day, we have to remember that we're doing this so that we can have a life. I don't have a life so I can have a job. Okay. So those things go into my calendar first, and then my daily routine. Every single morning I go back there, I look at the calendar. Okay, this needs to happen. I also have an admin, and her job is to keep me on point. I literally tell her, because this business can suck up your time. If I have something that I just absolutely positively cannot miss, her job is to tell me, start sending me alerts like 10-15 minutes before that is due, so that I don't miss that call or that appointment. Okay. So that's another day in the life. My appointments are preset, so I try not to go to bed without at least having 1 or 2 appointments for the following day. My appointments, so his calendar was beautiful, except that our appointments follow my client's schedule, and most of my clients are working people, so that means they're working till 5-6 o'clock. So what I do, I run my calendar just because it's what works for me. I work in the morning. I take part of the middle of the day off. I run my errands. I go to the bank. I do my groceries, things that happen to my life. And then they kind of disconnect me from the business, which I kind of like for a little bit in a couple of hours. It recharges me. And then usually by 4, 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night, I'm showing again. I can show sometimes till about 8:30. At night, and then I'm home, and then that's my time. I don't do that every day. I don't want guys to think that I'm maniacal and need to do that every day, but if I do have that kind of business, I will do that every day, because it's also not going to happen every week or every month. And if the business is here now, I'm taking it. And as far as goals for yourself, I do that every year. Okay, so it is October. It is time to set your goals for next week. So when he was talking about knowing your annual goal, I'm sure Janet will do a great class on this, because Janet is the one that walked us through originally how to do that. You need to know what your big picture is, guys, so that then you can break that big picture down into little small bite manageable size goals that we can do daily and literally down to the hour. So I can tell you what my number is, what I want to make for the year, and then I can break that down monthly, how many appointments I need on a monthly basis, and then I can break it down weekly, how many calls I need to make. I know that I was having a conversation with one of the admins the other day, and she said to me, well, you know, what are your numbers? Well, I know that I need to make 100 phone calls in order to get 3 appointments. And out of those 3 appointments, I'm going to get maybe 1 solid lead out of there that'll get to something. So, yep, those are my numbers. I can break it down to the hour. Okay. That's the day in the life. I mean, it is a lot. But I love it. I love it. Questions? No?
Agents, now is the time to take advantage. We have here a top producer. And not only that, speaking of vacation, she's actually going to be traveling in a couple of hours. So take
I'm on a
advantage
flight
of her.
at 2:30. I'm out of my house at 1:30 today. Yep. Bags are packed. Dog is ready. We are on a road trip for it's going to be about 21 days.
Wow, awesome.
I'll be working, just a different location. Yeah.
So Debbie,
And
I
that's the
have
great
a
thing.
question. Oops, sorry.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I have a question. So you were mentioning that your schedule now is a little bit more comfortable, like if you have to run to the bank or do this, do that, but that wasn't the case when you first started.
Honestly, I'm sure it wasn't from home. Let's just put it to you that way, okay?
Okay.
But the bank wasn't open, and I'm never off on a weekend, so I had to make those allotments of time. So yeah, you have to run to the bank, you have to do your groceries, you have to eat.
Right.
So I always managed to do that in the middle of the day anyway. It's always been, I need that break because I start really early in the day and I know my clients want to go out late at night. So I kind of take that gap in the middle for myself.
And how early would you say would be a good time to start? Because I'm up at 6 in the morning.
Okay. All right. So am I. And sometimes I'm up in the middle of the night and then I go back to sleep. But so here's what I do. If I have to answer emails and text messages, there's a way for you to do that, but don't let them go out at that hour. Okay. So most people think that they get 900 messages from me in the morning at 9 a.m. They don't. I wrote those in the middle of the night sometime. And then I set so that they release at 9 a.m. Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay. So with text messages, when I had an Android phone, I was able to do that. Now that I have an iPhone, I have not figured it out. If there is a way, please, somebody feel free to let me know, because I like to append all my text messages and again, send them out when I need them to. Okay. You need to know your clients. The attorneys, you can't text message. You have to email them. But my clients, the majority of them, they do want to be text. Okay. But I don't want to harass them at 4 o'clock in the morning when Debbie's texting. And I would do that to somebody because I did that once and he answered me right away. So I was mortified. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. You know, and he said, that's up. I'm fine. I'm up at the gym. So I felt a little bit better, but I learned my lesson and I won't do that again.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Next, anybody? Any question, guys? Anything at all you want to know?
Yes. Hey, how are you? How you doing?
Good, thank
Juan
you.
Carlos Dominguez here. How you doing?
Great, thank you.
How long have you been doing this real estate, if you don't mind to share your story
Yeah,
a
so
little bit?
real estate, actually, this is my 18th year, okay?
Wow.
Doing it full-time, nonstop Keller Williams. I did it full-time in the past, and then 2008, I kind of slowed back a little bit. But once I came back to Keller Williams and I learned the model here, this was the first time anyone said to me, this is how it's supposed to be. Okay. So once they said to me, this is how it's supposed to be, I followed that model. Okay. I came in part-time, but Debbie doesn't do anything part-time. So my part-time was I worked 24 hours a day in another job for 3 days straight. And then I would come here and work, 8, 9, 10 hours a day. So that was my part-time. And I gave myself 3 months. I said, I'm going to do this for 3 months. If at the end of the 3 months, I can't make a living out of this, then I got to go back to doing what I was doing, because I, had a household, had no choice. I had to do that. Okay. Yeah. That's why you need to know what your big why is. If your why isn't big enough, you're not going to get the job done. Okay. So there's no lead generation. There's no time blocking. There's nothing that's going to get the job done if you don't understand why you're doing this. And that's not always easy, because your why will change over time.
Yeah,
okay.
It's true.
So it takes some serious soul searching to know that.
And the other question I have for you is, I guess, and I'm sorry if I asked you something, but
no, that's okay.
have you done real estate investing yourself?
Yes, I have. And I'm about to do it again. So part of this road trip to Florida is, figuring out where. Yeah. So road trip. Yeah, I love road trips. I love them. That's
good for you.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
My pleasure. Awesome, guys. I'm always here. Who else? Hello?
Tyrone, I saw you unmuted. You have a question for Debbie?
No, I'm shy.
Are you shy?
You're not shy,
I don't
Tyrone.
even have a picture. Tyrone, how long you been in real estate?
As an agent, I've been in for a year now, but as an investor, I guess for a while, 10, 15 years.
Okay, so you know what you're doing, basically, on the investment side.
Well, yeah, in a way. Well, see what happened. I got hurt several years ago, about say 10 years ago. I got hurt where I gave contractor like 160 something thousand. I lost that, so I had to sell a couple of my properties to get myself out of the hole. Had credit cards up to the max and so forth, but I survived. Then a house. I got an opportunity to buy a house that was on a short sale or so, was cheap. So that got me motivated again. Good. And I'm here now.
Good.
Yeah.
So I'm actually glad you shared that, and thank you for going personal, because all of us have lives and we all go through these things. So yeah, that's why I'm very grateful that you shared that. Don't be afraid. I mean, you know what? So what? That was your lesson. So you went through a rough patch, you found the lesson, and you moved on. Obviously, that'll never happen to you again, right?
Absolutely.
That's all it takes. That's it. That was the lesson. Okay. So good. Thank you, Tyra. You're not that shy.
Yeah, all the mistakes are a lesson in life. You start looking at them, and it's actually, we feel positive about it. Yeah. All right, so let's not do it again. Learn from it.
Absolutely. I got to tell you, talking lessons, I feel at this moment that there's nothing that scares me anymore, because I feel like it's all been thrown at me. And I've managed like a tennis racket, you kind of like, they're out of here. But so this is a great time to be me, because I can just do whatever, because I'm not afraid of it. Okay. And we're all going to get there. We're all going to get there.
Yes.
Yeah. Most definitely. I do want to remind everyone that Tessa put the student manual in the chat, as well as your own 135 form that you can download and edit, as well as the 411.
Yep.
All right? So download it so you can edit it. If you haven't started working on it, like Debbie said, right now is when you need to start planning for the following year.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You'll listen to all the largest coaches in the nation telling you that this is when you start making your plans for next year. Okay. It takes a while. If you're really honest with yourself, when you do your first big goal, your action plan, I think it took me I started and it probably took me about a week to 2 weeks to be to mull it over in my head and go, oh, wow, I got to go that granular. Like I broke it down. I could tell you I loved it because when I was done, I could tell you exactly what my bills were. I broke it down so I knew everything, where every single dime was going in my business. And I did that because I needed to understand my business in order to go properly. Make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It was an excellent, excellent plan. I remember going to Janet at that point and saying, how do you do this? And she and I sat, I believe it was on a Saturday in the office, and she's like, this is how I do it. And after that, even if I'm not with a coach, I'm still doing that every year. You need clarity in your business, okay? You need to be clear on those numbers and what it's going to take. Okay.
And I've told my agents many times, if you ever need assistance, if you want to schedule an appointment with me one-on-one, that I'm more than willing to help you. Like she mentioned, it was a Saturday.
Yep.
I'm here for you guys. I want you guys to produce. I want you guys to be successful. I want to see, I want to throw commission checks at you every time, right? That's what I want.
We want those.
It's not an easy industry. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. But here I love to see that we have Kappa agents on the call. Did you notice, Debbie? We have Bobby, Arturo, Isabel.
Yeah, I did.
The Vergaro team,
Fantastic.
Marsha. Yep. Awesome. It's great to see these Kappa agents here. Yeah. Everyone started the same way. New agents going to real estate school, but they're Kappa agents because they work hard, right?
Yep. I love the fact that we have so many people that have surpassed me in their business. Christopher James, I'm not sure that he's on. I don't think he is, but this kid blew me out of the park. Tommy's doing amazing. So Tommy's story was really great because during COVID, Tommy graduated the program. He kind of pulled apart because Tommy's doing, his thing. And I ran into Tommy when we both went to submit our documents for the Circle of Excellence at the office. And I'm going, what are you doing here? He's like, I'm in silver. And it was like a proud mom moment, like, oh my God, look what the hell this kid did. Good for him, Marsha Oliver, God, there's so many, and I'm so very proud. So don't be too proud to ask the questions. Dig deep. Everyone's a superstar right now in the market. This market will not be like this forever. Those people that are not trained, those people that are not coached will not survive a downward market. So yes, we all look amazing right now. Okay. But we're not in it for the moment. We're in it for the long haul, correct? Yep. So if you want a business and not just dabble, then do the right thing. Do it the right way. Set up your structure for your business correctly. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Anything else? I mean, as far as my day is concerned, I'm happy to answer. And at any point, you guys can always find me through the office roster. If you have a question, I'm happy to answer that for you. Okay. I love my open houses. I had 2 young ladies at my open house, not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before. I don't see them online, but plug in, guys. The only way to really pick up a nugget, I know it's an hour and a half. That sounds like a whole lot of time, and it is, but that one little nugget could be a turning point in your business. Okay. David, and I remember, it's funny, like I remember when those little nuggets happened. So, I'm in the business for a while, I'm making some money, and I sat in on David Leong's class. And he said something, and I was like, oh my God, that's it. That's it. And I applied that little nugget in my business, and it was a turning point. So I'll tell you exactly what it was. I never did buyer consultations where they signed a buyer agency agreement. Now, I don't take out a buyer unless I've had a buyer's consultation and you signed a buyer's agreement, okay? It's not so much about having that signature. It's about them understanding that we're a team and you and I are going to work as a team to get this done, okay? So that's what I'm talking about, those little things that you can pick up and walk away with. All right. Anything else, guys? Anything you guys are having challenges with in your day? I can help there too.
Yeah, I'm having a challenge with getting my database started, like putting in all my contacts, and because my husband and I, we get up running, we start a day, we go work out, and then we come back to the house, and it's looking for homes for buyers.
Yeah.
We have a few buyers, so that's how we start our day. We're constantly on the computer, just looking, and emailing, and so I really need to schedule my day so that I start off doing my database, my phone calls, and so on and so forth.
So when you say your database, are you just entering the one or two from the day before, or are you entering a full database from someplace else?
No, when I say database, I mean my command, like putting in all my contacts and being able to call them, take out a time slot and call them in the morning. That's what I mean.
Okay. So as
like
far
from
as entering them, if it's not your strength and you don't want to do it, Fiverr, pay someone to do that. Okay. That's if you have a lot of them that have to be entered. Okay. And then, so look at Command as your planner. Okay. Because Command, you can set up tasks that you're going to call people. You can also pay someone to learn to do that for you. And then just send you a task that needs to get done for the day. So for me, what works, if I tell my admin, okay, I have people making calls for me, and then they'll tell me, Deb, you need to call this person. So they send me a lead sheet, and that lead sheet has all of the client's information. I'm able to listen to their conversation, which I do just before I call the client, so I know what that conversation was. But they'll send me alerts, okay? Which I love. I get a task computer that reminds me, you got to call this client. It comes through on my phone. And then if I forget, my guys are aware that Deb will forget. So they remind me, hey, Deb, don't forget to call so-and-so. You got to talk to this client. And if I did, then fine. I let them know and they pull it off the task list. But don't do the nitty gritty stuff. I mean, if you hate it, I hate paperwork. I don't want to do it. I want to be in front of the client. Let me talk to people. That's where I do well. That's where I shine. I don't like paperwork. I got to know it because I can't teach what I don't know. But pay somebody. Go to Fiverr. Fiverr, you can find people for $4, $5, $6 an hour. And if you want to go through a company, you can do that too. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Anyone else? Now is your time, because we don't have to stay here till 12:30. If no one has no questions, then we can disconnect now.
Okay. Going once.
Yeah. Hello?
Yes, hi. Hey.
Hey, Deb, it's Josh. Can you hear me?
I can. How are you?
Good, Deb. Congratulations on going on vacation.
Thank you.
Deb, quick question. Your admin, are they stateside or are they like international?
They're international.
And you pretty much, what's the bulk of the work that they do for you?
Okay, so I have two right now, and they do two distinct things for me. One of them is strictly transaction management and paperwork. And honestly, anything else that Deb needs. She is amazing. It's my right hand. I can't do without her. I'm driving and I need to pay for something, my card expired or whatever. I call her, I go, can you do this? And she's got it. And a few minutes later, I have an email with a receipt. So love, love, love that. She and I work really well with the transaction coordination because what she can't handle, I'll do. Okay. Then I have another admin, and he is strictly transaction management. I'm sorry, I take that back. marketing. So he does amazing walk on water marketing. I could never ever fill his shoes at all. And we're training him on cold calling. Okay. I am in the process of adding more callers. Okay, because I have some distinct areas that I want dialed ASAP. Okay.
For example, the transaction coordinator, one of the big things that I know that he or she would be great for is inputting listings. So, but the thing that I have a hard time kind of grasping is you go to a listing, you know it's this many bedrooms, this and that. When it comes time to input it into the Garden State has one of the most extensive input sheets of all the MLSs. How can somebody who's never seen the home, go do it? I mean, at that point, it's probably just easier you do it.
Oh, no. So I'll tell you. No, it's not. No, it's not. So I love WhatsApp, and I love that I could speak to it and she gets a message. And she loves it because now I leave her a ton of messages. And I'll do videos too. So I'm walking through the house and I go, this is a 5-bedroom, colonial. When I did the East Orange one a few weeks ago, I literally walked it in a video. So she gets that. She has that.
Got it.
Okay. Usually I have her draw up the paperwork for me because she's got already all the templates set up, preset. Okay. And then when I come back, she'll send them to me. I fill them in and I scan everything back to her. Okay. So that's the extent of it for me. And then she just asked me a ton of questions during the day, and I'm okay with that. I have to tell you that there were more fines when I was entering my own listings than when right, Jenny? I was constantly getting fined from Garden State and Hudson County. Yeah.
And so last question, would you be open to sharing with us who's the secret company you use for the assistant?
So, yeah, Riva.
Riva?
Is the name of the company, Riva.
Okay. Sounds great.
But there are a ton, okay?
I know. Too many.
I'm interviewing 2 more right now. If I have success there, I'll be more than happy to share those with you.
Sounds great. Thank you, Debbie.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome. And you will never walk that back, the admins. You may go through a lot, okay? But you will never walk that decision back.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. And the same thing with you, Maria. If you need somebody, that's why I said just hire all the tasks you don't want to do. They're menial. It's aggravating. It takes away mentally from what you really should be doing. You are not a $10 an hour employee. Okay. What you do is worth so much more than that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Anyone else, guys?
I do want to share with everyone, I put in the chat an event-wide training for career visioning, especially for those of you that are ready to take your business to the next level. You want to start hiring leverage, admins. There is a special training. Click on the link, review it. It's Adam Hogenrother, mega agent, multiple market centers, many expansion teams as well. Look into it, get the information because, hiring a person is not easy, right? If you hire the wrong person, it's going to cost you a lot of money. So look into it and let me know if you have any questions. Anyone else has questions for Debbie? Going once, going twice.
We're out.
3.